All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakak Radash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Red Millstone, double honors to my elder apostles as well. I heard one Banya Charlotte down here in the Lions Den camp. Salutation to the occupant that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Canucks and Banya Charlotte from the Lions Den Yahshua camp. And this is another Lions Den news and prophecy. Here we go. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right? Written in paper. You hear that phrase mentioned quite a few times in the scriptures. Written on a tablet, written in paper. Um, Write this in a book. Um, um, what was it? What is it? Uh, the word was given. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I can't even really phrase it right. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I think it's this. I'm not sure. No. It's basically all scriptures given by inspiration of Yahweh by Shem Shai. And it says the word of the Lord was published. Great was the man who published it or something. Those are two different scriptures. But as you know, it was saying in Second Ezra, it says, cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Binding these things up on a tablet, writing them on paper. These are the things that's like writing it on paper is like us doing these videos, giving the testimony of the prophecies that's given unto us through the Spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so as Apostle Tahar said in a couple of days ago in the video that did, we sound like broken records. Yes, we do. We're going to continue to sound like broken records as um, and what's going to happen is the things that we're speaking of that people are getting tired of hearing are going to come to pass. So now, dealing with this issue of everything that's going on with uh check that out. Going on with Nero 47, as Pastor Hart likes to call him. He's really going buck wild right now, like no filter whatsoever. This is really the true state of Esau, how they really are. And like now they're in the point in the mindset they don't have to have any shame or hide behind. They used to hide behind the system, but now they don't. They're not hiding behind anything anymore. And it's Yahweh Shimon Shai exposing the weakness. Really, the wickedness is the weakness of this devil, and he's gonna get judged for all the wickedness that's embedded in him. All right. So now what are they doing? Is what's happening right now is called land grabs, trying to get up so many territories to try to protect itself against what's inevitable to come. All right, so you already have this situation with Venezuela, which I've been talking about for the past few series of months, leading up to what happened recently in the events of President Maduro being captured. I ain't heard nothing else about what's going on with him. He going on trial yet? Is he even still alive? you know, but it's crazy because it just shows the United States looking as bait, or no, being baited, you know, being baited uh, into showing their true colors. You know, in this particular situation with where they're talking about Greenland, like annexing Greenland, hmm, which I made a mistake a few videos ago when I said to annex something, it had to once be a part of it. No, that's not true. Annexing is meaning to acquire something, like another land or something like that, um, to be a part of, you know, who you are, roughly paraphrasing. But it doesn't for it to be annexed. You know, it doesn't have to be once a part of that system. Um, thus, like situation with Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine was once a part of the USSR. All right. So when they and so was Crimea when they annexed that and they went and invaded Ukraine, it was that purpose to rebuild uh, the once USSR or Soviet Union um, as it once was in old, and that's all prophecy. We've been speaking of that. That's Ezekiel 38. We've been speaking of that over and over and over again. You know. All right. So this article right here um, is a warning that China is going to give to the Trump administration. It said China issues new Greenland warning to Trump administration. So because Trump was talking about annexing Greenland, taking control over Greenland as he took control over Venezuela. Is that moving in like what was that the Iron Army, the Iron Curtain or something like that of Rome? That's how Alexander was moving. That's how Greece was moving. That's how Rome was moving. Basically, with what America is doing right now. You see that? It says China cautioned the United States on Monday against invoking other countries as a justification for pursuing its goals in Greenland. See that? It says say, saying Beijing's activities in the Arctic follow international law and are intended to support peace and stability. It says Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning's remarks came after President Donald Trump again pressed the idea of the United States acquiring Greenland. So just like how the United States acquired America, right? A semi-autonomous territory within NATO ally Denmark. Speaking to reporters aboard the Air Force One on Sunday, Trump said Washington must take Greenland to prevent Russia or China from gaining control. He added that he would rather make a deal, but instead, one way or another, we are going to have Greenland. See, those are bold statements. See that? So now we just read what we read in Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1 and 2. It says, so let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, because we've been sounding like broken records way back from during the time of the prophets, back in, the older days. This is Habakkuk 2 and 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and see and set me upon the tower. Right, because prophets are what? Watchers. They look at the events that are going on in the earth and measure, how close the prophecies is, and we prophesy about them. That's why it says, "Speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy." Right. So it says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he shall say unto me." Who is that he? Talking about Yahweh. How is he speaking to us through the spirit of his son, Yahweh? And what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision. See that? See that? Let's go back to 2 Ezra 15:2. It says, cause them to be written in paper. See that? Go back to Habakkuk 2:2, it says, and the Lord said unto me, answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon. That's crazy. News clip just came over. ICE has been here in Jacksonville, Florida. I seen them pull over some Mexicans the other day. Yesterday, matter of fact, yesterday after I was taking my kids to school, I seen them. They had the turning lane blocked off where I was trying to get into. When I passed by them, I seen the ICE agent, and they didn't have regular police. They had state troopers. They didn't have police, but it was state troopers, and they had some Iscarites pulled over in a pickup truck. Go figure, right? It says and the Lord answered me and said, write the Habakkuk 2:2. It said, the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that reads it. Right. So as we do these lessons, right? You know, like when the apostles do lessons, what does it do? Us younger brothers in the truth, we watch, and then what do? We run and relay that message that was given from the higher ups, like from Yahweh to Yahweh Shai, to the holy angels, and to the holy angels that are here on this earth. That's the elect. Giving the message. The angel just means messenger, right? So what is that message? It's prophecy. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. What is that? Revelation 19:10, I think. I'm not sure. It says, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Right. So before that appointed time comes, we're speaking on it. Before it happens, to let you know it's the true word of Yahweh Shai, Shai, just like it says, um, 2 Corinthians 15:1, it says, for they are faithful and true. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Right. So at the end, it's speaking right now through the words of through the words of Yahweh Shai through the prophets. It's going to be manifested in that they were not lying about we were not lying about what's to come in the end, because some people are not going to be able to see it. Some people are not going to be able to see it until the end. It's not going to register to them what's going on until the end, even though they heard it, but their eyes were darkened so they wouldn't be able to see it. It says though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. See that? So it seems to be taking a long time in the sense of how man calls time, but it's really a short period of time. It's not gonna keep lingering on, pretty much though. Pretty much, it's not gonna keep going, even though it seems to be going on, dragging on. It's not gonna continue to drag on. It's not gonna, it's gonna surely come. Verse 4. So let's go on. In that appointed time is coming for judgment on this earth, right? It says, verse 4, it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Right. So the one whose soul is lifted up is one of the main individuals we're prophesying against. The downfall of Esau, right? Whose pride has him lifted up, but his soul is not upright in him. He's like a beast, spiritually a beast, like a brute beast. See that? But even though we're in the belly of this beast, right here in Babylon, we're still going to continue to live by our faith. Because not only we're prophesying about the destruction of this kingdom, we're also prophesying about the deliverance of the elect of the children of Israel throughout the four corners of the earth. But the main deliverance is going to come right here in the belly of the beast, Babylon the Great. It says, verse 5, it says, yea, because he also transgresses by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Boom, that's the point right there. What did he just say? We need to acquire Greenland, and we gonna acquire Greenland. Thus said DJT. DJT in this bitch. Yeah. So it says Yea, also because he transgresses by wine through his philosophies, he is a proud man. So that's made him proud. He's able to get over on everybody and finesse everybody. But neither keepeth at home who enlarges his desires as hell. See that? He wanted Venezuela, he put hell on Maduro, kidnapped him and his wife. Ain't no telling what they doing to him. And is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathers unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. See that? He's land grabbing everything, coveting everything. That's why he lives according to his greed. See that? But his pride has deceived him because he thinks his house is going to continue this forever. But his pride has deceived him. All right. So let's All right, verse 6 says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. See that? And how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, and that clay is debt. The more wickedness transgressions he put out there, the more debt, the more judgment that he putting on his head. He's in deep in debt, like being deep in debt with the mafia. What they have you do, they have you dig your own grave, because if you're deep in a debt that you can't pay, you know what I'm saying, you got to dig your own grave. And that's what Yahweh Shemel Shai is allowing this devil to do for a appointed time. All right, let's get back into this article real quick. It says the comments have added to already rising tensions this month between Washington, Copenhagen, and Newark, as the White House weighs options, including military force, to secure the sprawling Arctic island. Danish Prime Minister Matt Frederiksen has warned that an American takeover would effectively end NATO. Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Kerdrik Nielsen, along with leaders of four other parties, issued a joint statement Friday saying the island's future must be decided by its people, and urging the U.S. to end what they called its contempt toward the territory. See that? Don't nobody want this but America. Greenland don't want this. Don't want to have nothing to do with this. So this is all a pushing agenda. They're pushing a narrative for an agenda that they want to uphold. Enlarges his desires as hell and is as death, man. It cannot be satisfied. He wasn't satisfied taking Venezuela and Maduro. He's not satisfied with that. He wants to keep going. See that? It says China, which described itself as a near Arctic state in 2018, has sought a bigger role in the region through its Belt and Road Initiative and plans for a Polar Silk Road. Asked about U.S. claims that Greenland must be taken to block China and Russian control, Mayo said China's Arctic activities are in coordinates with international law and focus on peace, stability, and sustainable development without outlining specific actions. The rights and freedoms of all countries to conduct activities in the Arctic is accordance to with the law should be fully respected, Mayo said, without referring to Greenland directly. The U.S. should not pursue its own interests by using other countries as pretext. She added that the Arctic concerns the overall interests of the international community, because the Arctic is supposed to be open to anybody. You see that? It said diplomacy is continuing in parallels. Danish and Greenlandic envoys are expected to hold talks with Washington this week, and the U.S. senators are also planning a visit to Denmark as friction grows over the administration's Arctic strategy. All right, so now it says, why does Trump why does Donald Trump want Greenland? Because he's greedy, right? He says Trump has argued that bringing Greenland under U.S. control would bolster national security and limit strategic opportunities for rivals such as China and Russia in the Arctic. Because really, because if you look at what Greenland is, it's right over North America, not on top of Canada. Okay, hold on one second. Right, so you can't see this map I'm looking at, but yeah, so Greenland is right over top of. It's like around 800,000 square miles. It's right over top of North America, and it's in between. Like, well, yeah, it's in between the United States and Russia and China. Let me get another map. Oh shit. All right, I'm trying to find another map, bro. But anyway, yeah. So where's that? United Kingdom, Poland, Ukraine, Russia. Yeah, see, all that is Russia. You got China, right? Yeah, so the scripture said that, an invasion is going to happen on this place through the north, right? So Trump's angle at going after Greenland, yeah, I mean, it makes sense for a military standpoint, but if you didn't have war on your mind, you know what I'm saying? Well, why would you even think or suspect anything like that? America is in that mindset because of all the atrocities that they're done all over the world. That's a guilty conscience because you don't want what you've done to everybody else to happen to you. See that? All right. So it says he has pointed to the island's location as an advantage for military infrastructure, including expanded radar coverage and missile defense, as well as access to shipping routes expected to become more uh, navigable as polar ice melts. In his framing, Greenland is central to maintaining U.S. influence in a region increasingly tied to global power uh, competition. Right. So it's from a war standpoint. That's why he wants Greenland. See that? Neither keep like enlarges his desires as hell and is as death. What brings hell and death? War. But China said what they said. They issue a warning to the United States. You can play with it if you want to, and also Russia just warned the United States about their intervention and interaction with what's going on in Iran. All right. Just want to touch on that a little bit. Lord willing, let's edify the service purpose for the hope of elect the ones truly believe in the name Yahweh Shem Shai. With that, like I say, call Halayim like Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harikak Wadash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone. Double honors to our elder apostle as well, the Herwan Banyasha, all the downhill lines in camp. Salutation to the argument that are pushing the truth, the sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men and women and children that believe in the name Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.